9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good day everyone, and thank you for clicking this channel for you to learn today. And for today's learning session, we are going to talk about Unit 7, Professionalism and Transformative Education. And the main topic is Transformative Education, and that is ASEAN Qualifications Reference Framework, or AQRF. And now, what is ASEAN Qualifications Reference Framework, or AQRF? Is a common reference framework that enables comparisons of education across participating in ASEAN member states, or AMS, that develop human resources through closer cooperation in education and lifelong learning, and in science and technology, for the empowerment of the peoples of ASEAN and for the strengthening of the ASEAN community. The AQRF addresses education and training sectors and the wider objective of promoting lifelong learning. So that's all the definitions of ASEAN Qualifications Reference Framework. And now let's proceed to the purpose. The objectives of ASEAN Qualifications Reference Framework include support recognition of qualifications, encourage the development of qualifications framework that can facilitate lifelong learning, encourage the development of national approaches to validating learning gained outside formal education, promote and encourage education and learner mobility, promote worker mobility, lead to better understanding of qualification systems, promote higher quality qualification systems. And the AQRF will support and enhance each ASEAN member state's national qualifications framework or qualification system, while providing a mechanism to facilitate comparison, transparency, and higher quality qualifications systems. So those are the objectives of ASEAN Qualifications Reference Framework. And now, let's proceed to the quality assurance of AQRF. Quality assurance is a component of quality management and is focused on providing confidence that quality requirements will be fulfilled. To promote quality assurance of education and training across the region, the AQRF is underpinned by a set of agreed quality assurance principles and broad standards related to the functions of the registering and accrediting agencies, systems for the assessment of learning and the issuing of qualifications, regulations of the assurance of certificates. Learning outcomes emphasize the results of learning rather than focusing on inputs such as length of study, and support the transfers of qualifications, including credit transfer and recognitions of non-formal and informal learning. The AQRF is a hierarchy of levels of complexity of learning, which is used learning outcomes as the metric for the hierarchy. To use other measures, such as duration of programs, it is not a feasible option. Thus, the descriptors in the AQRF aim to use learning outcomes to facilitate comparisons of and links between qualifications and qualification systems across AMS. And next is the level descriptors. So, the level descriptors of the AQRF aim to provide a reference point for the levels in National Qualifications Framework and National Qualifications System to facilitate the referencing process. The AQRF is based on broad level descriptors which include 8 levels of complexity of learning outcomes. So, the level descriptors include the notions of competence, which is the ability that extends beyond the positions of knowledge and skills. It includes cognitive competence, involving the use of theory and concepts, as well as informal tacit knowledge and gain exponentially. Next is functional competence, skills or know-how, those things that a person should be able to do when they work in a given area. Next is personal competence, involving knowing how to conduct it oneself in a specific situation. And last is ethical competence, involving the possessions of certain personal and professional values. To the level descriptors, and these are cognitive competence, functional competence, personal competence, and ethical competence. So, the personal competence and ethical competence are valued by ASEAN member states as they contribute to the capacity of people to know things, act skillfully, work effectively in different settings, and to show responsibility and accountability. Personal competence and ethical competence includes attributes such as assertiveness, intercultural awareness, active tolerance, and acceptance of diversity. These attributes could be included individual NQFS. So, the level descriptors include two domains. First is knowledge and skills, and second, application and responsibility. The knowledge and skills domain includes the various kinds of knowledge such as facts and theories, as well as the skills used such as practical and cognitive skills. And the application and responsibility domain defines the context in which the knowledge and skills are used in practice, as well as the level of independence, including the capacity to make decisions and the responsibility for oneself and others. So those are the two domains that included to the level descriptors. Next is the components of the AQRF. The components of the ASEAN Qualification Reference Framework are used to establish a relationship between its levels and those of the member states of national qualification frameworks or qualification systems. This is referred to as referencing. Referencing the implementation of the AQRF requires all AMS implement a common process, a referencing process. The AQRF referencing process will. The referencing process requires that each AMS sets up national referencing panel of key stakeholders. The referencing process will. The referencing process requires that each AMS sets up a national referencing panel of key stakeholders. This panel is to include at least one international expert representative, plus an additional observer from one of the other AMS. For member states with a NQF, identify in a broad sense that best fit levels of the national frameworks to that one of the AQRF. For members that without a NQF, identify for national qualifications types for K qualifications. The best fit to the level of AQRF is include confirmation that the accrediting and registering agencies meet agreed quality principles and broad standards. So, to facilitate mutual trust, the referencing report undertaken by each AMS will confirm that its quality assurance systems and implementations of quality assurance strategies meet the agreed quality assurance principles and standards. If this confirmation not possible, the referencing process and report should demonstrate progress. Those are the process for the AQRF referencing. So, to facilitate mutual trust, the referencing report undertaken by each AMS will confirm that its quality assurance systems and implementations of quality assurance strategies meet the agreed quality assurance principles and standards. So, if it is this confirmation is not possible, the referencing process and report should demonstrate progress. And now, let's move on to the last, which is the linking national qualifications frameworks. To establish comparability of ASEAN country framework levels or qualifications types, countries will need to refer their qualification framework levels or qualifications types to the AQRF Philippine Qualifications Framework.